All right, if you're thinking about moving to Sacramento, California, stop right there. We've helped hundreds of families relocate to the greater Sacramento area, and I'm gonna tell you something that might actually shock you. Half of what you think you know about Sacramento is absolutely wrong.
Living in Sacramento can either be one of the best decisions you'll ever make, or it can become one of the most expensive mistakes of your entire life. And we've seen both happen to families who've moved here.
So in this video, we're breaking down the real unfiltered pros and cons of living in Sacramento, California, not the sugar-coated BS that you find on Google, not the scary social media posts or the other channels that are spewing doom and gloom, but actually what matters when you move here and build a life in the Sacramento region.
All right, so here's the truth. Some families move to Sacramento and absolutely thrive. They love everything about it, but we've also seen families struggle, and honestly, some of the things people love the most about Sacramento are the exact reasons others end up hating it.
Now, if you don't get Sacramento right, it's going to be a rough ride. So today we're giving you the real 5 pros and cons of living in Sacramento, from people who have lived their whole lives here, from people who have just moved here like you're planning to do, and Lauren and I are going to be trading off so you get both of the different perspectives.
All right, let's start with pro number 1. And honestly, this is one of the biggest reasons people are flooding into Sacramento right now. It's the affordability here, especially when you compare it to the Bay Area or even Southern California. It's absolutely incredible. Now, I want to be completely real with you. Sacramento isn't cheap by national standards anymore. Those days are pretty much gone. But when you look at what you get for your money here compared to San Francisco, San Jose, or even parts of the East Bay, it's night and day. We work with so many families relocating here from the Bay Area, and the shock on their faces when they realize they can actually buy a house with a yard, maybe even a pool, for what they were paying for a 2-bedroom condo down there is priceless. I mean, we're talking about people who've been renting tiny apartments in San Francisco for $4,000 a month who can suddenly afford a beautiful single-family home here. You can find gorgeous homes in great neighborhoods. We're talking 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, modern kitchens, actual outdoor space in the $500,000 to $700,000 range. Now, I know that sounds expensive to people coming from other parts of the country, but for California, especially Northern California, that's a steal. In the Bay Area, that same money might get you a teardown or a condo if you're lucky. And it's not just housing. Your overall cost of living is lower. Groceries, gas, dining out, all of it is more affordable than the Bay Area. You're still in California, so it's not Texas or Florida pricing, but you get so much more breathing room financially. I can't tell you how many clients tell us they feel like they can actually breathe again after moving here. Plus, and this is huge, Sacramento has a strong job market. We're the state capital, so there's tons of government jobs, stability, great benefits, pensions, but not just government work here anymore. We've got healthcare with UC Davis Medical Center, Sutter Health, and Kaiser, and coming soon, the Kaiser Rail Yards. We've also got education, tech companies moving in, and with so many people working remotely now, you can live here and still get that Bay Area salary without the Bay Area cost of living. That's the sweet spot right there. That's where people are winning big time. Keep your 6-figure Bay Area income, move to Sacramento, and suddenly you're living a completely different lifestyle. You can actually save money, take vacations, invest in your kids' futures, and not feel like you're drowning financially every single month. Now, we've had clients literally cry tears of joy when they realize they can afford to buy a home and stop throwing money away on rent. That's how big of a difference this move can make. So if affordability and getting more bang for your buck is important to you, Sacramento is going to be a game changer. Okay, so we just talked about affordability being this amazing pro. Now let me hit you with that con number 1. And this one's a big one that catches a lot of people off guard. It's the summer heat. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Sacramento summers are hot. Like really, really hot. We're talking triple digits hot. If you're moving here from the Bay Area, you might be used to that beautiful 70-degree, 80-degree summer with a little bit of fog rolling in, and maybe you need a light jacket in July. That's absolutely not Sacramento, not even close. Even after us trying to warn people moving here, I just don't think they realize how hot it can be. And a lot of times they decide to move back home or back down to Southern California. Now, from June through September, sometimes even stretching into October, We regularly hit 95 to 105 degrees, and we have stretches where it's over 100 degrees for days, sometimes weeks at a time. And I'm talking about those heat advisories where they're telling you to check on your elderly neighbors, make sure your pets have water. You'll open your front door in August and it's like opening an oven door while you're baking. That blast of heat just hits you in the face and you're like, nope, I'm going back inside. It's intense. Now the good news is it's a dry heat. It's not humid like Texas or Florida or the South. So it's more tolerable than humid heat where you feel like you can't breathe. But you still need to be prepared for it. You're going to need good air conditioning, and I mean good. Your energy bills are gonna spike in the summer. Now we'll talk more about that later. And you're going to plan your entire day around the heat. We don't do much outside between like noon and 6 p.m. in July and August. Now you do your errands in the morning, you hit the pool, or you stay inside with that AC cranked during the peak heat. And then you come back out in the evening when it cools down, and it does cool down nicely at night, which is just one of the saving graces here. Now we get that delta breeze that comes in from the bay, and evenings can actually be really, really pleasant. But during the day, you're basically running from one air-conditioned space to another. Your car AC is definitely working overtime, and you're parking in the shade wherever you can find it. You're bringing water bottles everywhere. It becomes a whole lifestyle adjustment. And honestly, once you get used to it, it's not that bad. You adapt. You learn to love the pool, and trust me, you're going to want a pool or access to one. You learn to embrace the shade, the evening breezes, the indoor activities during peak heat. But if you hate being hot, if you're someone who gets cranky and miserable in the heat, Sacramento summers are gonna be really rough for you. And I need you to understand that. But here's the flip side, and this one's important. Because of that summer heat, we have incredible weather the rest of the year. Fall, winter, and spring are absolutely gorgeous here, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that's what makes the summers bearable, knowing that 9 months out of the year, the weather is pretty much perfect.
Before we dive into the rest of these pros and cons, we're Lance and Lauren with the Living in Sacramento team, where we help people like you every single day move and relocate to the greater Sacramento metro. Now, if you're already thinking that Sacramento is going to be the perfect place for you guys to move to, our phone number is going to be popping up on that screen. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message, and we absolutely love it when you guys reach out to us. So our phone number is going to be up on the screen. It's going to be down in the description and pinned in the chat. All right, pro number 2 is going to be access to everything. And this is one of my absolute favorite things about the Sacramento region, the location. We are perfectly positioned to have access to everything Northern California has to offer. And I mean absolutely everything. Sacramento is literally the hub of Northern California. You want the beach? You're there in an hour and a half to 2 hours to the coast. You want the mountains like Lake Tahoe? Same thing, hour and a half to 2 hours. You want wine country in Napa and Sonoma? About an hour away. We are central to everything, and that gives you so much lifestyle flexibility. This is a huge selling point for our family because we love variety. We don't want to be stuck in one place doing the same thing every single weekend on any given weekend. We can decide, do we want to go skiing in Tahoe? Do we want to go to the beach in Santa Cruz or Bodega Bay? Do we want to go wine tasting down in Napa and explore San Francisco? And all of those options are realistic day trips or easy weekend getaways. And that's incredible compared to living in the Bay Area where you're stuck in traffic for hours, just trying to get out of your own city, or living in Southern California where everything is so spread out. It's a 5-hour drive just to do something different. Sacramento gives you options without the hassle, and it's not just about leaving Sacramento. There's so much to do right here in the area. We have the American River Parkway, which is this beautiful 23-mile stretch of trails along the American River. It's perfect for biking, running, walking, kayaking. It's like having the natural escape right in the middle of your city. We've got Old Sacramento with all the history, the riverfront restaurants, the Delta King riverboat. We've got Midtown Sacramento with the amazing restaurants, bars, coffee shops, nightlife. We've got Discovery Park, William Land Park, the Sacramento Zoo, Fairy Tale Town for kids, tons of farmers markets every single weekend. And because we're the state capital, we get a lot of culture here that other cities our size just don't get. We've got the Crocker Art Museum, which is phenomenal. We've got the California State Railroad Museum, the State Capitol Building with free tours, concerts in the parks, shows at Golden One Center. We've got the Sacramento Kings if you're into basketball, and let me tell you, the Kings games here are a blast. We've got the Sacramento River Cats at Sutter Health Park with the Oakland A's here for the next 2 or 3 years. There's always something happening here. Festivals, concerts, art walks, food truck events. You're never bored bored in Sacramento. And if you do get bored with what's here, you're just 2 hours away from something completely different. You got the perfect balance of city life with real amenities, but you also have accessibility to nature and other destinations. You're not just trapped, you're not isolated, and you have the freedom and flexibility, and that's what makes Sacramento so special. It's the best of both worlds. You get city perks without feeling suffocated, and you get the outdoor access without feeling like you're in the middle of nowhere. For families, this is huge. For young professionals, this is also huge. And for retirees, this is huge. Everyone wins in Sacramento. Con number 2 is going to be traffic, commute times, and car dependency, and lack of public transportation. So traffic and commute times are getting worse, and they're only getting worse fast. This is something that's really changed over the last 5 to 10 years as a lot of you guys have moved and relocated from the Bay Area. The traffic has increased significantly. Now, we're not at Bay Area or Southern California levels yet, but we're heading in that direction. And here's the big part of the problem. Sacramento is an extremely car-dependent city. You need a car here. The public transportation system is not very great. We have a light rail, we have buses, but they don't go everywhere that you need them to go. Routes are limited and the frequency just isn't there. It's not like San Francisco or New York where you can hop on a BART or a subway, get somewhere quickly. Sacramento wasn't built for that. So when you've got all these Bay Area transplants moving here, maybe people who used to take BART to work or walk to the grocery store, they're suddenly realizing that they need to drive everywhere, and multiply that by a few thousand residents every year, and you can see why the roads are getting more congested. Now, if you're commuting to the Bay Area for work, which a lot of people still do because they want that Bay Area salary, but the Sacramento cost of living, you need to be prepared that the commute is going to be brutal. We're talking an hour and a half to 2 hours each way on a good day. And if there's an accident on Interstate 80 or Highway 50, or it's raining, that can easily turn into 2.5 to 3 hours. I've talked to people who do this commute and they basically live in their cars. They're getting up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning to beat traffic, and then they're not getting home until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. That's a 12 to 14 hour workday just to deal with work and commuting, and that will burn you out so fast. I've seen it destroy family life. Now, if you're working remotely or you're even going to be going to the Bay Area a couple of days a week, that's definitely manageable. A lot of our clients do that and it works out great. But if you're going to be expected to be in the office 4 or 5 days a week, you really need to think long and hard about whether or not that's going to be sustainable. Even if you're not commuting to the Bay Area, getting around Sacramento during rush hour can be extremely frustrating. Highway 50, Interstate 80, Business 80, Interstate 5, they all get backed up during the morning and the evening commutes. And here's the thing that catches people off guard. Sacramento is more spread out than you really think. People look at a map and think, oh, Elk Grove, Folsom, that doesn't look too far, but that can also be about a 45-minute to an hour drive, especially with traffic and stoplights. The infrastructure just hasn't kept up with the population growth. So we're adding thousands of new residents every single month, but the highways are the same, the roads are the same, and there's no robust public transportation system option that takes these cars off the road. So everyone's sitting in the same traffic, fighting for the same lanes. That's why working with us is so important. We help you figure out where you need to be based off of your work location, your lifestyle, your kids' schools, if you have them, all of that, because choosing the wrong neighborhood based off of commuting also can absolutely make your life miserable. We've seen families who have bought beautiful homes in great neighborhoods, but they're spending 2 hours a day in their car commuting, and that burns you out super fast. You miss time with your kids, you're exhausted all the time, and you have no energy for anything else, and you start to resent the move. We've seen people sell their homes and move back just because they couldn't handle the commuting anymore. So you've got to be strategic about this. If you're working in Folsom, live in Folsom or El Dorado Hills, or even Rancho Cordova. If you're working downtown, look at places like Midtown, Land Park, East Sacramento, Curtis Park, or even West Sacramento. If you're working in Roseville, live in Roseville, Rockland, or Lincoln. Don't sacrifice your quality of life and your family time for a slightly cheaper house that's 40 miles away where you need to be, and look at traffic. It's only going to get worse in Sacramento. Okay, quick pause here. If you're finding this video helpful so far, do us a huge favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us reach more people who are planning their move to the greater Sacramento region, and we appreciate the support. And go ahead and drop us a comment down below. Tell us where you're moving from and what you're most excited for, or what you're most nervous about, especially coming from places like the Bay Area, Southern California, or even from out of state. What brought you to Sacramento? We read every single comment and we love hearing your guys' stories. Plus, we'll answer your questions directly in the comments.
All right, now pro number 3, and this is one of my absolutely favorite things about Sacramento, the food scene. You guys, Sacramento is known for the farm to fork capital of America, and that's not just marketing hype. The food here is legitimately incredible. This is actually one of our favorite things about living in the Sacramento metro area. We love the restaurant and the food scene here. And let me tell you, we are completely spoiled with amazing restaurants. We're surrounded by farmland. We're right in the Central Valley, which is one of the most productive agricultural regions in the entire world. We produce more food here than almost anywhere else on the planet. So the produce here is fresh. We're talking real fresh. It's local, it's seasonal, and the chefs take full advantage of that. You've got farm-to-fork restaurants all over the Sacramento, especially in Midtown. Places like The Grange, The Kitchen, Ella, Cannon, Mulvaney's, these places are serving up incredible food with locally sourced ingredients, and it's not pretentious or stuffy. It's approachable and it's delicious, and it celebrates the amazing agriculture we have here. But it's not just fancy restaurants. We have great taco trucks on every corner, hole-in-the-wall Thai places that will absolutely blow your mind, incredible sushi, authentic Mexican food, Vietnamese, pho, European, Indian, Mediterranean. The diversity of food here is fantastic because Sacramento is such a diverse city, and farmers markets. Oh my gosh, the farmers markets here are unreal. The Sunday Farmers Market under the freeway in Midtown is probably one of the best in the entire country. It's massive, it's bustling, and you can get everything fresh from local farms, from stone fruit, tomatoes, corn, strawberries, citrus, fresh bread, artisan cheeses, fresh eggs, flowers, everything. It becomes a weekend tradition for so many families here. We love taking our family to the farmers market on Sunday mornings, grabbing fresh produce, some kettle corn, maybe some tamales or empanadas, and just walking around. It's such a community vibe, and you really feel connected to where your food comes from. And if you like craft beer or wine, Sacramento has a booming craft beverage scene. We've got some incredible breweries all across the Sacramento metro. We've got urban wineries popping up all over, and you're only an hour from Napa and Sonoma if you want the real deal wine country experience. There are also tons of food festivals throughout the entire year. We've got the Farm to Fork Festival every September, which is huge. We've got Taco Fest, Beer Week, food truck festivals, you name it. The food and beverage culture here is legit, and it's only getting better. You will never run out of new restaurants to try. We've lived here for years, and we're still discovering new spots all the time. And that's coming from someone who loves to eat and explore the food scene. Sacramento is a foodie city, and if that's important to you, you're gonna absolutely love it here. All right, we've gotta talk about con number 3, and we wanna be absolutely honest with you because that's what this whole video is about. Now, some urban challenges you'll see in certain parts of Sacramento, particularly around homelessness. Like a lot of California cities and really cities across the West Coast, Sacramento does have a visible homeless population in some areas. Now, if you spend time in certain parts of downtown Sacramento or pockets of Midtown, you're gonna notice encampments, particularly along some of the sections of the American River Parkway and under overpasses. Now, we've had families tell us they drove through downtown on their first visit and it caught them off guard, and I get it. It's not something you expect to see, especially if you're coming from a smaller town or a different part of the country where it's absolutely freezing cold. It's a complex issue here with many contributing factors, and we're not going to get into all of the politics of it. But here's what's important for you to know, and this is really concentrated in specific areas of the urban core. And here's the good news. The vast majority of the Sacramento region, especially the suburbs and surrounding communities, are absolutely beautiful, safe, and incredibly well maintained. Now, if you're living in communities like Folsom, El Dorado Hills, Roseville, Rockland, Elk Grove, Davis, Granite Bay, or Lincoln, then you're not gonna encounter this really at all. These areas are thriving, they're safe, they're family friendly, the neighborhoods are gorgeous, the schools are excellent, and the sense of community is wonderful. In fact, one of the reasons so many families are moving to the Sacramento area is because the suburban communities offer everything you want. We're talking great quality of life, safety, excellent amenities, strong neighborhoods without the urban challenges that you might find in the city center. Now, if you're thinking about living in downtown Sacramento or certain parts of Midtown, you do need to do your research. Some blocks are absolutely fantastic, safe, clean, vibrant with amazing restaurants and nightlife. Others have more challenges, and it can really vary block by block. Now, this is where working with us becomes so valuable because we know these neighborhoods intimately. We can guide you to the best pockets of the downtown and Midtown that are thriving, or we can show you those incredible suburban communities where you won't deal with any of these issues at all. And honestly, every major city in California faces similar challenges. San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Sacramento is actually doing better than many of them in terms of managing these issues and investing in solutions. But we want you to go in with your eyes open. The reality is most of the people who move to the Sacramento area end up in the suburbs anyways, because that's where the newer homes are, that's where the great school districts are, and that's where you get the most value. And those areas, they're absolutely phenomenal. Safe, clean, growing with tons of families just like yours, building their lives here. So yes, there are some urban challenges in parts of the city center, But the Sacramento region as a whole is thriving, and the communities where the most families choose to live are truly exceptional.
Okay, pro number 4, and this is going to be something that we mentioned earlier, but it deserves its own deep dive, and that's going to be the outdoor lifestyle and the weather here, especially outside of summer. It's absolutely incredible. Yes, summers are going to be super hot. Lauren's already covered that. We're not going to pretend otherwise, but the other 9 months out of the year, absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best weather you're ever going to find in California. Fall in Sacramento is absolutely gorgeous. We're talking about that crisp morning air, beautiful colors. As the leaves change in the trees along the American River and the neighborhoods, it's perfect weather for being outside. We're talking mid 70s, maybe low 80s during the day, cool evenings in the 50s and the 60s. It's sweater weather and it's patio dining weather. Winter is mild. We're not dealing with snow or ice unless you drive up to the mountains. Most winter days here are going to be somewhere between 45 to 60 degrees. You might get some rain, which is actually needed for the drought. It's nothing like the cold, brutal, freezing winters you experience on the East Coast or even in the Midwest or in the Pacific Northwest. We don't shovel snow. We don't scrape ice off our windshields. We don't deal with black ice on the roads. Kids can still play outside most winter days, and you can still go for a run or a bike ride. It's amazing. In spring, man, spring in Sacramento is magical. Everything is green, blooming. We've got wildflowers, trees are blooming. The weather is perfect, 70s and 80s, and it feels like the whole city comes alive. Everyone's outside, patios are packed, parks are full of families. It's beautiful. So yes, you've got 2 or 3 months of really hot summer weather, but you get 9 months of near perfect weather. And that means that you can be outside year-round, hiking, biking, running, playing sports, going to the parks, having barbecues. It's an active outdoor lifestyle. We love that our kids can play outside almost every single day of the year. We're not stuck inside for 6 months dealing with snow and freezing temperatures. They can ride their bikes, be kids, play at the park, swim most of the year, even if their pool is heated. That's the quality of life that's hard to put a price on. And like we talked about earlier, you're so close to everything for outdoor recreation. You've got hiking in the Sierras, 30 minutes to an hour, and you're on credible trails. You want a kayak or paddleboard, the American River, Lake Natoma, heck, you can even do it at Folsom Lake. It's right here and it's free. And you want to go mountain biking in Folsom or Auburn, some of the best mountain biking trails in all of California right here in our backyard. Lake Tahoe is obviously the crown jewel with the winter and the ski and the snowboarding. World-class resorts like Palisades, North Star, Heavenly. In the summertime, you can boat, swim, paddleboard, hike, camp, and it's close enough that you can do it on weekend trips regularly without being in a huge production. The outdoor lifestyle here is unmatched. If you love being active, you love nature, and you want kids growing up playing outside and exploring, Sacramento is going to be your happy place. This is why people move here and they never leave. The lifestyle is just too good. All right, con number 4 is going to be limited entertainment and nightlife. This is something that catches people off guard. Even if you're coming from a major metropolitan area, Sacramento does have limited entertainment and nightlife options compared to some of the bigger cities. Now, before I get into this, let me be clear. Sacramento does have stuff to do. We've got restaurants, bars, breweries, live music venues, theaters. Midtown Sacramento has a decent nightlife scene. There are events, festivals throughout the entire year. But if you're comparing Sacramento to San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, or heck, even Portland or Seattle, we're just not on that level. So let's talk about professional sports first. This is a big one for a lot of people, especially sports fans. Sacramento only has one major professional sports teams, and that's the Sacramento Kings. So if you're into basketball, that's great. Golden One Center is a beautiful state-of-the-art arena. Kings games are a blast. The atmosphere is electric. It's a real community rallying point. We also temporarily have the Oakland A's playing here at Sutter Health Park, which, while they figure out their own situation, but that's, to be honest, they're not exactly drawing huge crowds. So that's not really something to count on long-term, but that's it. We don't have an NFL team. We don't have an NHL team. We don't have Major League Baseball permanently. We have the River Cats, which is a minor league team, and honestly, they're more fun to watch than the Oakland A's, and they're pretty fun for families, but it's just not the same as having a major league team. So if you're a huge football fan or you live for watching football on Sundays, your team, you're going to be driving down to the Bay Area to watch the San Francisco 49ers. If you're a hockey fan, you're going down to San Jose for the Sharks. It's doable, but definitely not convenient. And look, I get it. For most people, that's not a big deal. You can watch sports on TV. You can stream games from wherever. But for the diehard sports fans who love the experience of going to the games, tailgating, being part of that live atmosphere, Sacramento definitely does have limiting options that can be disappointing. Now, let's talk about entertainment and nightlife more broadly. Sacramento is a growing scene in Midtown and downtown Sacramento. There are definitely some good clubs, bars, live music venues like Ace of Spades and Harlow's, the Boardwalk. We get some decent concerts here and shows, but it's not getting the same caliber of tours, Broadway shows, major headlining acts like San Francisco, LA, or even Vegas. So if you want to see a big name artist on tour, sometimes they'll skip Sacramento and only hit San Francisco or only hit Mountain View. So if you end up having to drive an hour and a half to the Bay Area, or if you want to catch that same show on Broadway productions, major comedy tours, big conventions or expos. A lot of stuff happens in the Bay Area, sometimes not Sacramento. It's getting better and it is improving year over year. The nightlife scene, while it is improving, it's still pretty limited compared to big cities. If you're young and you're single and you're used to having dozens of clubs, rooftop bars, late night entertainment districts, Sacramento is going to feel a bit sleepy by comparison. But if you're a young professional who thrives on nightlife, concerts, sporting events, and big city entertainment, Sacramento might feel a little boring. After a while, the suburbs can especially feel pretty quiet. Folsom, Roseville, Elk Grove, these are all great family-friendly communities with parks, schools, safe neighborhoods, but the nightlife and entertainment, not really there. You're mostly driving into Midtown or downtown Sacramento if you want that, and even then, it's not the exactly thriving compared to the San Francisco, Mission District, or the LA's nightlife scene. So here's the bottom line. Sacramento is growing and evolving. The entertainment scene is getting better, more restaurants, more bars, more events, but we're still a mid-sized city and we still don't have the same level of entertainment or nightlife or professional sports teams that you would find in a true major metropolitan area. So if that's important to you and if you need that constant stimulation and variety, Sacramento might feel a bit limiting. If you're okay with that, or you're okay with a more laid-back lifestyle, or you don't mind driving to the Bay Area occasionally for a big event or two, or you're at that stage of life where you're more focused on family and quality of life than nightlife's, then it's not going to be a deal breaker.
Okay, before we get to the last pro and con, I want to share a quick story because I think it really illustrates everything we've been talking about in this video. So we worked with a family about a year ago. They were moving from San Francisco. They had been completely priced out of the Bay Area. They were renting a small 2-bedroom apartment for like $4,000 a month, and they just couldn't afford to buy anything there. They had a toddler and another baby on the way, and they knew they needed more space. They were honestly pretty nervous about moving to Sacramento. They thought it would be boring, too hot, not cultured enough, too suburban. They were skeptical. They had all of these preconceived notions based on what they'd heard or read online. So we got on a Zoom call with them, heard their story, learned what they were looking for, and then we planned out a full day tour for them. We showed them Folsom, some neighborhoods in Roseville, drove them through Midtown Sacramento, took them to the farmers market, showed them the riverfront restaurants, everything. And then by the end of the day, they were completely sold. All their skepticism was gone. They realized Sacramento had everything they wanted: affordability, great communities, good schools, culture, food, outdoor activities, all of it. They ended up buying a beautiful 4-bedroom home in Folsom with a pool, a big backyard, in a great school district for like $700,000. In San Francisco, that wouldn't even get them a parking spot. And we checked in with them a few months ago to see how they're doing, and they said it was the best decision that they've ever made. They're happier, way less stressed financially, their kids are thriving, and they've made great friends in the neighborhood. And they actually have money left over every month to save and travel. They told us that they wish they made the move years earlier. All right, so here's what we want you to do right now. Pause this video if you need to. Grab your phone. You're going to see our contact information on the screen. Call us, text us, email us 24/7, 365 days a year. We love hearing from you guys. We offer free private Zoom calls and one-on-one consultations where we get to hear your story, what you're looking for, what's important to your family, and then we help you plan out your move. We'll show you neighborhoods you've never heard of, communities that will fit your lifestyle perfectly, and make sure your Sacramento experience is absolutely incredible.
Trust me, reaching out to us is going to save you time, money, and a whole lot of headaches. We've seen families make mistakes that cost them tens of thousands of dollars just because they didn't know which area to move to. So we're here to prevent that from happening to you guys. So don't wait. The information's up on the screen, down in the description, and pinned in the chat.
All right, pro number 5, and this one is a huge one for families. Now, the public education system in the Sacramento area is really strong, especially in the suburbs. If you have kids or you're planning to have kids, this is going to be a major factor in your decision. And I'm here to tell you that the Sacramento region has some excellent public schools. And we're not just talking about 1 or 2 good districts. There are multiple districts throughout the entire area that consistently rank among the best in all of California. So let's talk specifics. You've got the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, which is fantastic. Rockland Unified, excellent. Roseville City School District and Roseville Joint Union High School District, both highly rated. Elk Grove Unified is one of the largest districts in California and has some really strong schools. San Juan Unified has pockets of excellence. And if you go a bit further out, you've got districts like Center Unified, Placer Union High School District that are doing great things. Now, the schools in the communities like El Dorado Hills, Granite Bay, and Folsom consistently score high on standardized tests, have strong academic programs, and great teachers and tons of extracurricular activities. Now, we're talking about schools with robust STEM programs, strong arts programs, competitive athletics, and excellent college prep courses, including AP and honors classes. And it's not just about the test scores. These schools have involved parent communities, strong PTA organizations, and a real focus on creating well-rounded students. The teachers actually care, the administrators are engaged, and there's a culture of academic excellence. Now, one thing we absolutely love about the schools here is the diversity of programs available. Whether your kid is into sports, music, theater, robotics, debate, whatever, there are opportunities. Now, the youth sports leagues are competitive and well organized. And here's something that's really important: because Sacramento has such a diverse population, the schools reflect that diversity. Kids are exposed to different cultures, different perspectives, and different backgrounds. They're learning empathy, openness, and respect for differences in a way that's so valuable in today's world. The schools also benefit from California's commitment to education funding. Yes, California has its challenges, but the schools in the Sacramento suburbs are well funded, have modern facilities, and access to resources and technology. Many of the schools have been renovated or rebuilt in recent years, so you're looking at nice campuses with updated classrooms, science labs, libraries, and athletic facilities. Now, like any area, not every school is created equal. Some districts are stronger than others, and even within a district, some schools will perform better than others. Now, this is where working with us becomes so valuable, because we know these districts inside and out. We know which schools have the best reputation, which neighborhoods feed into which schools, and we can help you find a home in the right area for your kids' education. We can also help you understand school boundaries, which can honestly be confusing because sometimes they don't align with what you'd expect. You might find two houses on the same street that feed into two completely different schools. And if you're thinking about private school, Sacramento has options there too. We have some excellent private schools, religious and non-religious. Now, with the quality of public education in the suburbs, most families don't feel the need to go private. That's money you can save or invest elsewhere. Now, for families moving here from the Bay Area, this is often a huge relief because you're getting comparable or better education for your kids without the insane cost of living. Your kids can go to a great school, you can live in a safe neighborhood with other families, and you're not spending $50,000 a year on that private school tuition. Now, the bottom line is this: if you choose the right community in the Sacramento area, your kids are going to get an excellent education. The schools are strong, the programs are robust, and your kids will have every opportunity to succeed and thrive. And that's absolutely priceless for any parent.
All right, final con, and this is a big one that catches a lot of people off guard, and that's going to be property taxes, insurance costs, and some of the hidden costs that come with living in California that add up fast. So we talked about the beginning about the affordability being a major pro, especially compared to places like the Bay Area and Southern California, and that's absolutely true when it comes to home prices. However, California is still California, and there are costs that you need to be aware of because they can add up very quickly. Property taxes in California are actually capped thanks to Proposition 13, which was passed back in 1978. Your property taxes can only increase a maximum of 2% per year, which is great, but depending on where you buy, you could also be looking at Mellorews, which are basically those special assessments that newer communities have to pay for infrastructure like schools, road, added fire stations, police stations, parks. Now, Mellorews can be anywhere from $100 to $450 more per month to your housing costs, and a lot of people don't realize that until after they've already bought the home, and they get that first tax bill, and it's a shocker. Then on top of that, you might also have HOA fees if you're in a planned community, which a lot of newer neighborhoods are. HOA fees can range anywhere from $50 a month on the low end to $200, $300, or even $500 a month for communities with a lot of amenities like pools, parks, clubhouses, and landscaping services. So between your mortgage, your Mellorews, your HOA, and your regular property tax, your monthly housing payment can end up being significantly higher than expected. So this is why it's important to work with somebody who knows the area well, who can help you understand all of the hidden costs up front, and we can tell you which communities have the high Mellorews and which ones don't. And we can also help you budget accordingly so there aren't any surprises. Then there's homeowners insurance. California insurance rates have been climbing, especially in the last few years, even though Sacramento itself isn't considered a high risk for wildfires compared to places like Paradise or even the Sierra foothills. Insurance companies across the board are raising rates because of all of the wildfire losses statewide. We've seen insurance premiums double or even triple, and some people in just a few years, and it's brutal. Policies that used to cost $1,200 a year are now $2,500 or $3,000 a year, and some insurance companies are completely pulling out of California altogether, which makes it even harder to find affordable coverage. So you absolutely need to factor that into your budget when you're planning your move. Get insurance quotes before you buy and know what you're dealing with. And then there's the utilities, especially electricity in California has some of the highest electricity rates in the country. PG&E is no exception, which is the main utility company that's in Northern California, and it has raised their rates significantly in recent years. Your electricity bill, especially if you're running your AC all summer long, can get expensive. We're talking $250 to $400, and it can peak even to $500 a month if you have a larger home and you're trying to keep it cool. A lot of people are investing in solar panels to offset that, which is a smart move long term, but there are upfront costs, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 depending on the size of your system and the size of your home. There are financing options, tax incentives, but it's still a big investment up front. And here's something else that catches people off guard, and that is car registration fees in California. They are expensive, like uber expensive compared to most of the other states. Your annual vehicle registration is based off of the value of your car. So if you're driving a newer vehicle, you could be paying $400, $500, or even $750 more per year just to register that car. It's a huge difference, especially if you're coming from a state where registration is $50 to $100, and sometimes that even covers 2 years. Then there's gas prices in California. Consistently some of the highest gas prices in the entire nation, and Sacramento is no exception. We're usually about $1.25 to $1.50 more per gallon than the national average. So if you're used to paying $3 a gallon, get ready for $4.50 to $5.50 or more. And remember, Sacramento is a car dependent city. So if you're going to be driving a lot and filling up frequently, that's going to add up fast. And we can't forget about the California state income tax. If you're coming from a no income state like Texas, Florida, Nevada, Washington, this is going to be a shock to your paycheck. California has some of the highest income taxes in the entire nation, with rates going up to as high as 13.3% for high earners. It's significant, and it's going to impact your take-home pay in a big way. So yes, housing is more affordable in Sacramento than the Bay Area, but between property taxes, Melrose, HOA fees, insurance, utilities, expensive car registration, higher gas prices, and state income tax, your overall living cost of living in Sacramento is still going to be higher than a lot of other states. But here's the thing, and this is the most important: most people who move here still feel like it's worth it. You still feel like you're getting a great quality of life, beautiful weather. Most of the year you have access to mountains, beaches, strong job market, and great schools, and a wonderful community. But you need to budget properly and go into it with your eyes open so you're not caught off guard by these hidden costs. Talk to a financial advisor if you need to run the numbers. Make sure you understand the full picture of what's going on and what it's going to cost to live here, and work with us because we can help you navigate all of this. Find you the home, find you the community that fits your budget without sacrificing the things that matter to you most. All right, so there you have it, the real, honest, unfiltered pros and cons of living in Sacramento, California. Not that sugar-coated version that you find on those clickbaity websites, not the doom and gloom, but the actual truth from people who live here, work here, and help families move here every single day.
Sacramento is an incredible place to live if you do it right. You've got affordability compared to the Bay Area, an amazing central location with access to everything, incredible food and farm to fork culture, an outdoor lifestyle with beautiful weather most of the year, and diverse, welcoming communities.
But you also have to deal with the hot summers, increasing traffic and commute challenges, some urban issues like homelessness in certain areas of wildfire smoke during the fire seasons, and California's higher cost of living when you factor in all the taxes, the insurance, and the utilities.
Now, the key to making Sacramento work for you is finding the right neighborhood for your lifestyle, your budget, your work situation, and your family. And that's where we come in.
We are here to help you navigate this from start to finish. We've helped hundreds of families make the move to Sacramento, and we want to help you too now. We know every neighborhood, every school district, every commute pattern, every hidden cost. We've seen what works and what doesn't. So here's what we need you to do right now. Pull out your phone. You're going to see our contact information on the screen. You go ahead and pause the video, take a screenshot, or go ahead and scan that QR code to book your one-on-one strategy session. Call us, text us, email us, reach out however is easiest for you. We're available 24/7, 365 days a year, and we genuinely love hearing from you guys. So we'll set up a free private Zoom call with you. No pressure, no sales pitch, just real conversations where we get to know your story, what you're looking for, what's important to you, your deal breakers, your must-haves, and your goals. And then we'll help create a custom plan to help you find the perfect home, perfect neighborhood, and we'll show you communities you've never heard of. And before you go, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. We've got videos coming up on specific neighborhoods, school district breakdowns, cost of living, market updates, and everything you need to know to make the move to Sacramento in 2026.